Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to call upon my colleagues to be attentive because this is the statement on the increase.
Let's consult in low tones, Honorable. Distinguished senators.
Mr. Speaker, I would request my colleagues.
Order. And also unhook because I don't know who will want to contribute. Some people have been permanently on my list.
Okay.
Clear everybody so that then we know who will. Yes, Senator Cherargei, continue.
Request my colleagues to listen in because it's about the increased fuel across the country yesterday. You are aware, Speaker, petroleum super petrol increased to 134 shillings. That was an increase of 7 shillings. Diesel increased to 115. That was additional 7 shillings. Kerosene for the first time, Mr. Speaker, and is being used by mamambogas like places like Atozweni, even in Nandi somewhere, increased by 12 shillings. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of increase of the government by the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 48.1, I rise to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Energy on the issue of fuel increase by government as announced by Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, that is IPRA. In the statement, Mr. Speaker, the committee should, one, state why the government has dropped subsidies, Mr. Speaker, that the funds that are being collected under Petroleum Development Levy Fund that is normally deducted, Mr. Speaker, and therefore exposing our people to fail to undertake price and cushion that is there, Mr. Speaker, thus causing a great ripple effect in critical sectors of the economy due to high fuel prices, and especially at this time of the pandemic, Mr. Speaker. As you are aware, when there is an increment of fuel, the matatu owners normally transfer the burden to passengers, to border passengers, and many others, Mr. Speaker. Secondly, state the reason why fuel prices in Kenya have been on the rise in the past months, yet IPRA and the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum has done nothing to stabilize the prices and cushion farmers as provided by Petroleum Development Levy Fund and cushion Kenyans, and instead wait and surprise Kenyans with the overnight abnormal fuel increase, Mr. Speaker. Thirdly, state the status of the Ngamia 1 oil drilling by Tulo Oil Company, that is in Turkana County, and the total amount of funds collected by government from the export of the oil and its significance to Kenyans, Mr. Speaker, which should include the stabilization of the pricing of fuel, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, explain why fuel prices are much higher in Kenya compared to landlocked neighboring countries, including Tanzania, Uganda. Yet they collect the fuel from our port in Mombasa, Mr. Speaker. And you are aware, Mr. Speaker, that when you do comparison between these countries, where Kenya is through Mombasa port get their fuel, yet it is going, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the final point is that, as you are aware, most of this pricing are half, Mr. Speaker. 8% go to value addition tax, which is a half of the taxation that is there, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, in fact, Mr. Speaker, the operationalization, as they are saying in Finance Act 2018 and Tax Law Amendment 2020, the Committee of the National Assembly give the flesh that was there, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that this operationalization. So finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to call upon the committee, and I request, Mr. Speaker, because it's the urgent matter. As we talk, Kenyans are suffering now. Almost a half of Nairobians are working. They cannot board a matatu or a border because the increment of fuel means there is an increment of price, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you and me come from the region where farmers depend on diesel to be able to put in their tractors and be able to plow. If the price of diesel increase, it means the price and costing of food production will go very high, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, in Bungoma, in Trans Nzoia, and where I come from, Mr. Speaker, if diesel is very high, Mr. Speaker, and then it means that is being transferred. Mr. Speaker, that was just a rider on the statement that I saw, but I thank you, Mr. Speaker.